Yes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. This is Heather, my friend. I'm Priscilla, and we're welcoming Spirit Messenger Sheilah today.
Hello.
So, thanks for showing up, everyone. We really appreciate it this Sunday afternoon. And we're so excited to have you again, Sheila. Thank
Well,
you for
thank
coming.
you. I'm excited to be here.
It's always fun, isn't it? I
Yes.
enjoy this. So we're going to talk about psychics and mediums today, and maybe get a little insight in from Sheila's point of view and stuff. But let's say hi to the chat room real quick and turn my phone off. That would be good.
Yeah.
We have Sharon Sipe and Silver 1111 and Indigo Crystallis Tarot. Hi everybody, welcome and thanks for joining us. And I know we'll probably get a lot of your viewers as well.
I hope so. I did post it.
Either. Both, like Sharon Sipe and Mary Ellen Jenkinson. Yay!
Everybody get
People are.
over here and subscribe. So,
I hope. Did everybody get to see the Andre interview with Sheila
oh, yeah.
yesterday? It was phenomenal, and you must go see it if you haven't seen it. It's worth watching.
Oh, he's
I'm not going to
amazing.
go into it because of some of the content, but go see it. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. We had some fun.
He's a lovely man, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's very
So
nice.
knowledgeable.
Yes. And I felt like I understood a lot more of it. And then I tried to study up a little bit before we went in there. So I'm having a better understanding of this the trines and the
I
square.
heard you squares and trines. I was like, okay, I'm impressed. She
Well,
learned.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been pretty curious about it, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, I've been curious about astrology most of my life, and Heather actually did astrology, was an astrologer for quite a while,
Wow.
and so she's pretty capable. But gave it up.
Yeah, and I would have to go back and really study it to get back and up to par again because it's it is very
Complicated.
com- no, no,
Hmm.
it's not complicated, but it's very broad, and there's so much in it.
Well,
Yes.
thank God. He's been doing it for 40. What did you
Yeah,
say? 43 years or
yeah,
something. He's been doing it.
Yes.
That
That was really something. He's
yeah. I've watched his sister too. He's done a couple of videos with his sister, and she's also an astrologist. In fact, both of his sisters are astrologists. They're fascinating too.
yeah, and having a show of them all together is very fascinating.
But they also talk 90 miles an hour.
Yes,
So
yeah,
that's a little hard.
yes.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for coming. Oh, and our Heather's on there too, you guys.
Yeah.
That's great.
trying new things.
Hi, Mindy. So,
So, where do you want to start today?
What kept you going? What made you know that you had skills in psychic abilities?
okay. I'm still having a hard time hearing Heather. I'm sorry, guys. It's like,
What made you have? What made you know that you had abilities?
oh,
What got you started?
oh yeah. Okay. Well, I think for me, a lot of it, I was in denial with it because when the clairaudience began, I was just like, "Ugh, I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. I don't understand this. I don't want this. I wanted to, I wanted to, I had other ideas of where I wanted my life to go. And so, you don't really have a choice when it happens, but it's just kind of like, um, I couldn't figure out what it was called for a long time because after I had lived with in the haunted apartment, I was very aware of spirit after that. And
Mhm.
so that went on for from about when it started in 1990 after moving in there, moving out of that apartment in 1993, I think it was. But after I moved out, stuff was still happening. I had the shadow man run through my apartment, with this top hat. It was crazy. It was like 2D, but or not even that. It's
I was going
like
to
that
say,
black construction paper kind of thing. Yes. And So I kind of knew something was up because, and then when I think it was a couple of years later where I predicted the train crash that happened right outside of my apartment. It was like I just kept feeling like every time the train went by, I would have this up my spine. And I was just like, oh, something's going to happen. I'm like, something's going to happen. And then I came home one day and there was a train crash that I could see from my balcony because the train ran right behind by our neighborhood. And I kind of thought, well, that's interesting. How did I know that? And, it bugged me for a good 3 months before it happened. So things like that were happening. Again, I kept seeing spirits. I kept seeing the shadow people running around.
Do you see more than you hear?
I think I hear more right now. I'm not seeing as much. I don't see this. I don't have ghosts. I'm not haunted. I don't have that kind of stuff anymore, thankfully, because I can't deal. But it wasn't fun. I mean, I knew they were people, but they weren't in our body. And I'm like, there's too many people in this apartment. I live alone and want to stay. So it was kind of weird, but
I'd really like to be living alone. Yeah, I can see that.
The way my mind was working was this is not happening. But things kept happening after I moved out of the apartment, and that's where it started. And I had read the Seth books by Jane Roberts, and there was a lot of talk about telepathy. So when my clairaudience started, I couldn't figure out if that was what it was or was I just losing it. And
did you hear your voice or did you hear other people's voice?
My voice. They were other people. Yeah, it wasn't me, and it was not in my head. So
I heard other people's voices. It wasn't mine.
Exactly.
Outside your head.
No,
in your head.
In my head.
And yours were in your head or out of your head? Outside your head.
Yeah, it's not in my head.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's also the environment helps me to hear as well. I noticed back then when the clairaudience was hitting, and I would take a shower, and the sound, the white noise, man, I was hearing people. I'm like, what is happening? So I would never turn the fan on in the bathroom or anything. And it's like, now I do it, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. But it's, even without it, I'm now able to pick up people and living and dead. I didn't understand what it was until I got this book, because I kept looking up on the internet, what is this? I'm like, is this telepathy? But it didn't sound like telepathy. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right, because it's more like sending a message. I'm hearing people, and I'm like, so I found the book. I always tell this, I still have it bookmarked here, where in 2013 when I saw this, and it said many clairaudience can hear voices of the living who are not present, as well as spirit voices. And I was like, there it is. Now I know what it is.
Show the book.
Show the book.
Show the book.
Sure.
And who wrote it? Psychic Powers?
Sarah Bartlett.
Sarah Bartlett.
Yeah.
It's Psychic Powers. That looks good.
Yeah, it's a similar size as the Crystal Bible.
Right.
Which I like. It's small, but it has a whole lot of information that I still need to read this, but all the way through.
You find it still relevant?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, and there's little quizzes in here that you can take too. And I've taken them in pencil, and then I've retaken them, and I'm like, I'm checking off different things. Like, okay, then I have this now.
Well, over time, our gifts change, don't they? Some kind of go to the background, and others come forward. And
yes,
I never know from day to day what's going to happen.
No, I don't either, and it's really wild. And so yeah, so there's that. And I do still hear, spirit voices, and I still can't get over the time. It was like when the day my dad died, when I heard him, and I thought, oh my God, that's crazy. Did that just happen? And it did.
What a gift.
Well, yeah, and then we had some family drama that one of my siblings does not know about, but there was some family drama, and supposedly he had done something. for the outcome or whatever. And he was defending himself with me for 2 weeks because he was saying, no, I didn't do this, or wasn't, not completely, he didn't do what Monster was claiming happened or whatever. She's awful. But sorry. And when the document came, he told me the truth. He did not do that. And I was like, wow, he was right. He vindicated himself. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, Dad, please cross over. It's okay now. Please go. You don't have to do this anymore. Everything's fine. So, because I would,
at that point, did that release him to cross over?
I think so. But I mean, I felt bad because the situation was very upsetting. I cried myself to sleep often. I was like, I couldn't believe that he would do that to someone, and it thankfully it didn't occur, and so we never had to tell or reveal it to the other sibling. So thankfully everything worked out the way it was supposed to. But I mean, it's just kind of like I felt really terrible because he was there, and it shouldn't have been that way, and it was all this person's doing on the other. Anyway. Mm-hmm. But it was like, but that was interesting. Yeah, I shouldn't get into this, but because just people that don't know what happened.
Well, that's okay.
But,
it's just an example. I'm glad that you were able to help your father.
Yeah, and it was just
that helped. That must have helped release him from all the worry.
I hoped so, because I was just like, you don't need to worry about this anymore. Everybody's fine. Everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And this shouldn't have occurred. And it was.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thankful.
Because there are people that are around that like to cause trouble just to do it. And,
I think every family has one of those. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Let's move on from that. Sorry, guys. I know that was heavy, but
it's fine. We all have one.
But it was a situation where I knew that I still am able to do that. And that was 2017. So, then, because then I was about, when was it? About 2015 or so. It wasn't just the clairaudience with the people that I know. Like, I actually know these people. And it would happen in my office, which was never fun. But never fun.
That's inconvenient.
Oh God, I have stories. But anyway, so it's like when I started to hear whispers, and that was here in this house, and I take it that whispers was actually my guide, and but I would hear her outside of my head. And for a while there was discussion, like I'd be trying to go to bed at night and she would try to talk to me, but I was always kind of like, you're not really, it was always, you're going to be able to. And I'm like, be able to what? And I'm like, I hate this sentence that doesn't complete. Like, what is it? I guess
I get that a lot. I get that a lot where they're halfway giving you a message and then they don't finish the sentence and you're like, what? What? I get that a lot, Sheilah.
I know.
I thought it was deep.
Nope. I'm like, they're messing with us over there on the other side.
It would drive me crazy when somebody would say my name and I'd wake up and I'd say, what? And there was nothing.
And nobody, no first response.
Yes. And
I bet they can hear you. You're good, doing good.
Well, they said they couldn't hear me either, so I'm doing my best.
I can hear you. You sound much better now. We tried to fix that in the back stage, so yeah. I think it's working.
It's all good.
It's working. You sound fine. But yeah, so like whispers. So I got mad at whispers after a while because I was like, you start to sound like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, it's starting to freak me out. I'm like, you have to go away. And I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah, so I did that, but late, and she did go away. Then I had a lot of orbs. There was lots of orbs running around here. Like my dad's orb showed up one day. It was about 2 months after he passed away. I knew it was him because the way it was cruising through the house. I was like, this is Dad. I'm like, Dad, cut it out. But I have awards. But since I've been doing this YouTube and I've been asking my guides and my angels and ancestors and everybody, friends who've crossed over who would like to help me with the readings. So lately, and I've been telling Whispers, I'm like, if you're still here, if you would like to help, you're welcome to do so. So not last night, but the night before, I was trying to go to bed, and over on the right side of the bed again, where she usually is, I kept hearing maybe. It was like a whisper, maybe. And I was like, okay, but now I'm trying to sleep. So I have this kind of
Really, it's time
kind
to
of banter. Yeah. But I'm
I
like,
have
okay.
a rule about going to bed at night. No midnight interruptions, no 3 o'clock interruptions. I'm good all day long. You want to talk to me, great, but no interruptions at sleep because I have a difficult time sleeping anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she and her husband used to get visitors in the middle of the night, and you'd get up and talk about it.
Yeah, it was anytime between 2 and 4. David would wake up with all kinds of different visitors, and we'd get up and have a cigarette and smoke a cigarette and drink a cup of coffee and talk about it and then go back to sleep.
Oh, after drinking coffee?
I know, right? In the middle of the night.
That's
I did
crazy.
drink coffee many years ago, though. Haven't smoked in.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens at night that I've noticed, and I have a lot of things where, like I'll close my eyes and I can see, like my eyes are closed and it's dark, and I can see something swooping in front of me, like there's somebody there, and I'm like, stop it! I'm like, please back off! It's like there's something here, and like I can't see it, but it's like, okay, stop. So for me, it's been kind of weird. It's just like it's become, instead of something I'm terrified of, it's almost like they try to annoy me, or I'll get my shirts get pulled and my hair.
I think they have a sense of humor.
So,
David's first wife had died before I met him, and she used to sending messages. Like my sister and I had a couple of horses that were very old, and we had to put them down. And my husband was English, and when I got home, he goes, "Well, they're with Irene. Everything's all right." And I said, "Well, what did she show you?" And it was a cricket. One horse's name was Cricket. The other horse's name was Band, and they showed him a cricket stub. It's like two sticks with a rubber band around the top, and that's how his guides played with him all the time, particularly his deceased wife. We always got interesting messages. Could I have a clean up?
wow, that's cool.
And one time one of my sister's dogs had died, and he immediately got it and he goes, "But I don't understand this picture." And he said, "I see a man, and it's like a football game, and there's somebody throwing something over his head."
Oh my gosh.
Gatorade, right? The dog's name was Gator Bait. And it was Gatorade that they were showing him.
Oh, wow.
Because he was English, he had no idea what that American connotation was with the Gatorade over the coach. He was clueless, but I understood exactly what it was. And the dog's name was Gator Bait instead of Gatorade. But,
Goodness.
so they definitely like to play with you. Mine, not so much. I think I don't have the sense of humor for it or something. Because mine don't play around quite like that. But David really did.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah.
Wow, so don't think you're the only one that gets those kind of crazy messages.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I have other weird things happen. Like I know I've went out one evening after work and up to this local Italian place just to get something to eat, and I'm sitting there, and there was somebody sitting next to me. And I don't know why. It's just something didn't feel right, whatever. And I went home, and I went to sleep, and I woke, and I hear, "My name is Courtney," and I'm like, was that the woman that was sitting next to me? I'm like, who's Courtney? And like, I get names out of no place. I don't know if they're living people or people who passed, but I get these names sometimes. And I know when the clairaudience would start, when that started, this was also related, I guess. I would also hear like doors slamming and crashes and all this stuff. And I'm like, what am I hearing? And buzzing. There was like a bzzz, like bee kind of bee sort of sound. And I'm like, I would always wake up thinking, what is buzzing in my room? Do I have a bee in here? But it was like a big bee, it sounded like. So I think.
Well, I have that sound too, but it's in my head. It feels like it's in my ears. It's like, yeah, okay, what?
Why mine feels like it's outside. And
yeah, mine seem to be inside. I don't typically hear things outside, I don't think.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
My ears click.
Yeah. I think that's anti-stopping.
And I can hear
click, click, click.
Goes around.
Yeah.
I can hear the engine drumming.
Yes. Wait, you said your ears click. Do you have that little click, 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 click kind of thing?
Click, click,
click, click. Click. And one's like click, click, click.
Yeah. And it's not the hearing aids. I can hear it with or without them. It's in my head.
Yeah, because I thought that I had this was so funny. It was going on for a while, and I thought I had a bug in my ear or something. Because you know how they show yes. So I went to the nurse at work, and I was like, could you please look in my ear and make sure that there's not a bug in there? And so I'm like, I'm hearing something, and I don't know what it is. And but I think that's also maybe the way the guide's trying to reach.
Search engine.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's trying to get when it happens to you?
I have no idea.
I don't get close.
But that's interesting though, because I mean, it's nice to know that it, like you said, it's not just me, and we have similar experiences, and it helps, it validates it a little bit. So
every little bit of validation helps in my book, especially when you're newbies. Barely knew it, all this stuff.
I know
I was around my husband because I was around it, but it never happened to me while he was alive. He's the one that woke it up. Said, "Hey, I'm calling you." Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think everyone has the ability. It's just that some people just don't tap into it, or they're in denial, like I was, or
life gets in the way.
Yes, or you don't
notice. So going and fast and moving, and we never stop and think. We never stop to quiet ourselves. If we're thinking about our grocery list and going to the bank and whatever else you've got going on. It's never just quiet time.
Oh, I know. Well, the grocery store was another situation. So I have to tell the story. Like, they built the store, replaced the old store that was there, and I think it was like 2011. I think somebody got killed in there when they were building it. I think I remember hearing that and thinking, oh no, it's kind of like the Tower Records store that we have. So I would go shopping in there, and it was like 2013 or 2014 when I'm in the grocery store, and I'm by myself, picking my groceries up, and this older lady's walking up, and she goes, oh, like she said, oh, I thought there was somebody right there, like right behind me. She's like, I thought, because she's like, she almost bumped into someone, and I was like, no, it's just me. And then it hit me. And then it happened a second time. And I'm like, and I realized I'm thinking somebody's following me around the store. I'm like, I got somebody following me, because 2 times that happened to me.
And in the same store, or at the same shopping store?
Same place.
But a different time.
Yep. Different time and different person that thought they're going to bump into someone. And I'm like, I have got somebody following me around the store. The person possibly either who died, or maybe it's somebody from, around here, the neighborhood.
But figured out.
No, but I know that that's not unusual for me, because I have picked up hitchhikers before, and I have to tell them to please, thank you very much, but please go back. You can't stay here.
Can you please explain what a hitchhiker is to our
it's a curious ghost who wants to come along for the ride to see where you're going. So, like, I've talked about this one because a couple times. There's the time I went to the antique store up by Leesburg, Virginia, and I it was over the Maryland line, and it's in the back somewhere, and it was a really old building, and I went up there, and it's 1700s or something. I'm 5'1", I can touch the ceiling of the living room or family room, whatever it was.
Wow,
and
yeah.
and the lady said to me, she's like, "There's more upstairs," and I was like, okay. So I went up these new stairs that they had put in, just up the stairs, and I got to the very top of the steps. I'm looking around. I stopped. I couldn't go any further, but I was looking around, and I'm like, I know there's nobody up here, but there's somebody in here. And I was like, I just turned right back around, went back downstairs. I didn't go anywhere up there. I was like, there is somebody here. Nobody was upstairs, but
Right.
and then I got home, and I walk in the door. I'm getting myself sorted out, and I smell a pipe, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, hello, thank you for your curiosity, but you must go back. Thank you. And then it dissipated, and they went. So he came with me. I know it was
important for people to realize that you can get rid of them. You tell them that to go, and they have to go. They can't stay with you when you demand that they leave. And
yes. And
if
then
they're polite, they go easy. If they're not,
right.
it might
Well,
take a little more. But
well, there was the other thing that happens to me too, where I have this smells. Like I can smell, like if I go to a historic place, or not even a historic place, but the land is, I smell the smell, and it's like a musty thing.
clear aliens is what that's called. Clear
Yeah,
aliens.
and yes, that one. And only a couple of years ago, it happened again. I forgot about it. I forgot what it smelled like because I hadn't smelled it in a long time. And I went up to Gettysburg, which isn't far from me. It's like an hour away or so. And they have crystal stores and things up there. So I wanted to go up there, and I went in this crystal store, and I left. And then I decided, oh, I'm going to drive through the battlefield like I used to do when I was in college, because I went to school near there. And I would drive my car through the battlefields all the time. And when I wasn't in class, I would just leave. I just needed to get off campus. I don't know what it was, but
Imagine driving through those battlefields, the horrors of those battlefields.
I know. But what happened was, a couple of years ago, I was driving through. I went around this hook area, this like where you sort of like a turnaround, and something significant I think happened there. I pulled around, and I get to where I'm going to pull out onto the main road that goes back to the main road through Gettysburg, and I smell it, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, you can't be in the car. I'm like, you're from the horse and carriage time. Thank you. Please get out of my car. And I was like, and I'm driving down the road going, oh my God, I forgot about that smell. Oh my God. Because I used to smell that when I was a kid. We couldn't walk near a graveyard on trips to like New England or anything without that. It was too much for me then, and it's still too much for me now.
Well, at least now you know why.
Yeah.
You finally just know why. Yeah.
It's like I can smell spirits. Or certain time periods. It's like around the 1800s has that smell, and the 1500s, I think, because when we were in St. Augustine when I was a kid and walking through some of the sites, we're outside. I'm like, why do I smell this? And I think about it now. If I were to go back, I just think it's loaded with spirits, just
Sure.
in that spot, and it's just because there were
I smelled certain things with certain deceased loved ones, but pretty not really anything other than that. Like cigarettes and coffee for my dad, and my husband. Cigarettes and coffee, roses for my sister,
perfumes.
Yeah.
Yes. And even in here the other night, I was sitting here at the computer behind me, and I didn't have any perfume on. I was here all day, and I started smelling this perfume, and I'm like, who is this? I'm like, okay, somebody's here. I was like, okay, it's not my perfume. I don't know.
I haven't worn perfume in years now. I can't handle the smells anymore.
Yeah.
any chemical, anything with chemical in it. Even, I can tell a fake essential oil a mile off because of it. Fragrances are bad. Essential oils are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's getting to be more difficult these days with that. I'm noticing everything's
Yeah, going through a nursery, the chemical section. Oh my God, it's like I need to
yeah,
leave this store. I can't walk through that anymore.
yeah. It is hard.
Terrible. I think everything once you start opening up, everything gets more sensitive.
Yes, very true. Like I can't handle loud sounds anymore. Like if the music is too loud, if I go someplace, I can't take it.
Are crowds of people? I used to love to go to rock concerts. Now it's like, no, never mind.
Yeah, I can't handle it. My ears are so sensitive that it's so hard.
Yeah, if I went to a rock concert today, I'd probably have to wear earplugs just to get through it.
And even restaurants can be way too
Mhm.
noisy.
Yeah, depending on the restaurant, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's different, isn't it?
Yes.
So, what other interesting events have happened? Do you have anything recent that's been
Well,
speak
let me
of
see.
that's been
Well, okay. Yeah, I guess there was kind of something because I had like I can remember dreams sometimes, but I've been listening to these meditations at night because I'm trying to like get more in tune with the spiritual side of things. Because since I'm doing all this, I need to be focusing more. So I'm trying to um, do that. So I listened to one the other night, and I think it was I don't even remember which one it was. I think it was something about opening or getting closer to your guides or ancestors or something was happening, and one of those I'm not sure which one it was, but I had this dream, and the dream was crazy that there was this older woman and she was walking through and she was crying and she's like, I really need to talk to you, and she's telling me she really needed to talk to me, and I was like, okay, and so I took her like up the stairs, but I was like, we should take an elevator, it'd be better for you. And I think we took an elevator up because
okay.
I was thinking she's a lot older. We probably shouldn't take the stairs. We had to take the elevator. So we took the elevator, and I go in this room or whatever, and there's all these other people in there. There's an Asian lady and her child, and there's somebody else, and they're all like waiting for me, and I'm just like, I can't talk to you guys right now, you have to go because I need to talk to this lady right here. And so they got up and I showed them out, it was very nice, just moved them on, and then she comes running up the thing going, I knew you had it in you, I knew you had it in you, and I'm going, what? I'm like, what just happened? And then there was another part of the dream which was kind of weird, but that's completely a separate issue. But that was wild. But I felt like something was occurring because of what I was listening to, and
Getting from that?
No, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay.
so yeah,
No, you didn't hear me. I said, no, I wasn't getting anything because when you lower your voice, I can't hear you.
oh really? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna move the microphone in front of me, maybe that'll be better. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good, because it's usually over here because I have the cards, but since I'm not using the cards, it can be here. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. Okay, so
I was wondering if you saw them. Did you know the room was full or did you see them?
I didn't know anybody in the dream, and so I woke up and I thought maybe these are people that are trying to reach me or to talk to me, and I didn't, like when I'm doing my readings, are these people who we were trying to reach? I mean, it feels like it's something along that line, but I mean, I don't know for sure, so
Yeah, it'll probably
it's
come
still
to
a
you in
mystery.
a day or two. Seems
Yeah.
like sometimes it
Sometimes it
needs to
needs to cook.
percolate a bit.
Percolate.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
we'll find out. So, but that was an unusual dream. So
Yeah, it is. I don't remember my dreams. And if I do, it's only like for a split second. I'll remember it because it's usually when I'm getting up to go to the bathroom that I'm waking up and going, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And I forget.
Well, dreams are kind of.
Wondering how many of your friends, not close friends, just acquaintance friends, know that you can do this.
I don't know. Not a lot. I don't think. I don't know that it's highly acceptable because it's kind of like I'm still working, so I'm not really
Right.
full on with that. But I think when I retire, I'll probably do more of this. More people will probably know, but it's it's not really. I mean, there are people around here where I live who know because I've told them I have the YouTube channel and sort of what I do, and I kind of gently put it out there a little bit.
I think it's too bad that everybody's not awakened enough to realize that this is something that's very good.
Mm-hmm. It is good, and it's like the cards. My family knows about this. All my, there was also they're okay with that. I don't know that my younger sister doesn't believe in anything anymore. We were raised Catholic too, so it's like she's decided she's not anything. So I think she would think I'm kind of goofy. But they all know about the ghosts. Like everybody knows I lived through that because it was terrifying, and it was awful when I finally came up against it.
You wouldn't think anything about it then because you already had ghosts when you were young. I don't know. It's hard when you have a job, and depending, of course, what type of job you have, it can be even more difficult to be in this type of line of business or whatever you want to call it,
or to have these abilities.
Yeah. Well,
my daughter, Mom, I think you need to go see a shrink, and I went to see a shrink, and the shrink said, "Do those voices tell you to hurt yourself?"
Yeah. No.
Do they tell you to hurt people? No. There's nothing wrong with you.
Right.
I
went to
love and vibrations and stuff like that.
I went to a doctor too because back when the ghosts happened, and I was like, wow. And it sent me. I think this also really affects you. I mean, it put me in a deep depression for a long time because I didn't understand what was happening to me, and it wasn't like that in my life. I mean, I was aware of things, but what was that? Did you hear?
Mm-mm.
It was like it was like there's somebody. I'm like talking about it. It was like I can't explain it, but okay. I've got somebody here right now. I just don't know who it is. Right?
Let's ask them who they are.
It was freaky just now. I don't know. I can't explain this sound. It is not something I've ever heard in the house before. But okay.
You want to know who it is?
I get freaked out when it happens. It was a male. It's a man. So it was like I can't explain the sound. It was over here, like out towards the door. So
who'd you bring home? Who'd you bring home from work?
No, I don't know. But I was talking about what was I talking about? I was talking about I'm gonna go back to it. I'm not gonna let that stop me. All right, so where was I? I was talking. I think I was talking. I forget what I was saying.
It's okay. I'm more curious about the guy in your house. I want to know what he's doing there, who he is.
That's a sound I've never heard. I have not heard here in like a long time. It was like a breathy kind of like a breath out kind of sound, but it was like a long one. And I've heard something similar before.
A sigh, a big deep sigh.
Could be similar, but that was weird just now, and that definitely threw me. So you can see I still don't do very well with that. It's when it's sneaky like that I don't like it. So yeah.
We were talking about friends and family, how people knew us and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
We were doing things
right, but that might Yeah, so my older sister, when we were younger, was interested in astrology, and she recently said she still believes in it. And so, um, no, not a last breath, Heather. It's a different sound. It's not that. It's not that death rattle sound. It was just like a. I don't know. It was back there. It's behind me, so I know it wasn't outside because the window's here.
Right.
So it was out there. So, um,
Yeah,
and
talking to ghosts in my son's house, and they were all coming down to visit my granddaughter, which was scaring the heck out of her. And I went in and talked to them and told them they couldn't do that anymore. They had to stay on the third floor, and they couldn't come down and visit her because they were scaring her.
yes,
And
well,
quit.
And they quit.
They absolutely
She was perfectly happy in that room after that. Stop.
yeah. I have to find out who this is once I get off of here. I'm gonna have to.
Well, you will have to update us all. You know, inquiries want to know.
I don't see anybody out there. There's nothing
I don't see anybody.
ghostly stuff. You know, because I used to see them with all the white mist. That is true.
Right.
You do see that. I've even put my well. It was crazy because back with the ghost, like the one was taunting me, the 1700s one, and I remember seeing his torso coming over the bed, and it was like you could see the buttons and everything. I would take the covers and go like this. I was like, "You're not doing this." And then the same one, I had two ghostly hands coming towards me, and I picked up the Bible and I whacked it, and it just sort of whirled away because I was terrified, but I was going to fight back. So it was just because it came over from my apartment because I stayed with my mom until I could get into the new apartment, and it was just torturing.
Following you around. That's rude.
Oh, it was bad. He was mean. I didn't like him.
My
So
sister had one like that followed her from Texas to California and
they
tried to
did.
strangle her. He tried to strangle her.
Oh my gosh! It's like,
Yeah.
dude, let it go.
It was real bad. She ended up in an ashram for protection.
Well,
She didn't
there's
know about this type of stuff.
well,
This world.
people think that they can't hurt you, but I've seen a lot of stories and situations where they could push you and do things like that, and it's just, but I won't. I mean, now I think for me, I feel like I am a little bit stronger. I know I just heard that, and it will freak me out for a minute, and then I'm going to be like, I do gather myself.
You'll be on it.
I pull
Yeah, 'cause
myself
that
back.
vibration's higher and higher now. The more you've opened up to your spiritual side, your
Yeah.
vibrations higher, and those lower vibrations really can't bother us.
And
Yes.
there were suggestions from the what
Chat?
you can do from the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph had some, and Debbie the Cane had some.
And
Yeah.
Heather, Indigo
Yeah.
Crystals.
Yeah.
Calm down, take a breath, pull in your light, wrap yourself in it, ask for protection, and then maybe you can communicate who it is. That's from Tracy Ralph.
Yeah. Oh,
Good.
we're going to be communicating after I get off of here today when we're all, but I'm going to find out who it is because I had it happen one time when I was doing readings. It was a similar thing, and someone I know had just died in a terrible fire on the highway, and it was awful. And I wondered if it was him, but
Right.
and I had ear buds in, which I can't do because it hurts my ears anyway, and plus it messes up my clairaudience. But that day, because I couldn't get my microphones to work, I did it, and I heard this whoo sound like in my ear. It was really loud and over here, and then I was like, "What's going on?" I even tagged it in the video that this happened, and then minutes later, I'm going through my cards and I'm trying to do something, and I hear it again on this side, and I caught it on video, although people say that they can't hear it, but every time I listen to it I hear it. And so I did catch the EVP of it. So after I got off my show, and when I finished my show. It's like dealing with the trolls. You don't want to stop your show just because they're out there. I'm like, there's a
It's
spirit
just
here.
a
They
spirit
can
troll.
wait. I know. It's like they can wait till I'm finished doing what I'm doing. And so, um, um, yes, thank you, Tracy. That's fine. Don't worry. But so what I did was I got off the show. I went downstairs to the kitchen, and then up here I heard this loud whoosh sound, and I was like, "Oh no!" And I stood down there and I yelled up the stairs. I said, "Okay, I don't know who's here. I don't know what this is about." I said, "But you need to stop it. Knock it off. This is my house. Do not do that," because it started to get louder, and so.
Wow.
I was like, I don't know who's here, but this is not okay.
So do you have any protections around your house? Do you have anything? Do you keep a white light around your house to keep
Well,
anything out that's not
I'm
to
I'm
the
in
highest?
I'm in a townhouse too, so there's 2 houses on either side of me. So, um,
So protect it all, but put a
yeah,
white light around your space, and smudge it
yeah,
until
I do.
it's not there the highest vibration that you must leave and never come back,
Oh,
and
I
then
do.
don't allow anybody come in
Oh,
that's
I do.
not
I do all of
unconditional,
that.
all that, and you
They have
still
to
get them.
ask.
Yeah, I've been smudging for years, and I've got selenite in every corner, major corner of the house. Um,
We have Oregon pyramids
yeah,
buried in each corner of our property.
yeah.
Oregon pyramids to keep.
Oh, really? I didn't know that would work. I have some of those. I haven't been able to figure out what they do, but that's an idea. I could go outside and do that.
Well,
But
they're good for protection, but there's one side that needs to be pointed north. So you
oh,
have to figure that out. Sometimes they're marked and sometimes they're not.
oh, okay. I don't think mine are marked,
Do a
but
show on Oregon.
but I do the sage. I've got so much sage and stuff. I do all that, and I found out about the selenite and the tourmaline, so I've got all that everywhere, um, all over the
Perfect.
place. And but I still get spirit that comes in here, and I just found out that an ex-boyfriend friend died 14 years ago, and I didn't know it because we had a falling out in 2000. So I didn't know, but for the longest time, like from 2012 on, I kept always feeling like there was a male presence here, somebody who wanted to whack me on the back of the head, and it was very upsetting. And they were kind of bald, like he was, but I didn't put it together
Right.
until I went into my ancestry, and I was like, "Where's Joe?" And I poked his name in there, and he had died. And I'm thinking, "Wait a minute!" And then it clicked, and I thought, he's not. This person's not trying to hit me. They're trying to get my attention, and it has the feeling of we had an argument behind it. So I put it together, and I realized it was him, and I
Wow.
found it. Yep, I found out his grave, which is buried in the town where north where my school was, my college where I met him. And I went up, I found it, and I visited it, and I just told him, I said, everything is fine between us. I'm sorry, all is forgiven. I'm like, please, 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 don't worry, everything's fine. Because I felt bad that because I've always been wondering about him, and I felt he wasn't in the world, and I didn't know why I was feeling that. And
Right.
so it all came together. But so
That's beautiful. You got closure.
yeah. Well, I
That's
mean, I felt bad because I didn't know he died, and I think he might have been mad that I didn't know he died. And it seems like the only obituary that he had was maybe a paragraph, and his family. And so I'm thinking he died at 43. I'm like, could he have committed suicide? I don't know. I'm hoping not, but I don't know what happened in his life, but it deeply concerns me, and I feel really terrible that I wasn't there to help him.
you know
So
he's okay now.
I think he is, and I don't feel that energy anymore. It's a different energy. So I don't know who that was. I think it's somebody else.
Once they've crossed over, there's nothing but love there.
Yeah,
They're
because I
fine. Full of health. My dad tells me he's flying airplanes. My husband's talking
yeah,
about fishing, and I'm like, what? I just can't comprehend. How do
yeah.
you fish? How do you go fishing?
Oh, that
You know,
because they could create it all. They could,
how can you go fish an animal? I never liked hooking a fish. I thought it was terrible to hook a fish unless you were going to eat it.
well, it's we're all energy, and I think afterwards, because our spirits still go on,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and it's just you can create your own reality. Basically, that's the ultimate.
thought-based reality. What you want, you get. It's there, right in
Mhm.
front of you, whatever it is. But it's also instantaneous, which is why we all need to learn to be mindful. Because in 5D, that's what it is. Everything's instantaneous, and most of us would be dead in about 30 seconds. You know what I mean? When we got there.
Exactly. So we need to be nice, we need to be good to each other, and
Yeah. We need to learn to be more mindful of our thought patterns. Type of
yes.
thinking.
So it's
I
just
don't think I'm ready for 5D anytime soon.
no, I'm not.
So
I'm not
driving,
ready
I
to go.
have issues.
Because I still have so much to do. Like after I retire, because I was talking to Andre, after our show. I'm sorry. I'm
Are you hearing it again?
I'm feeling it something. So let's back off. All right. So
You're talking to Andre.
yeah, so what he said to me, because we kind of looked at my chart afterwards and we kind
Oh,
of
good.
decided to look at it. And he was telling me that basically when I retire, it's like 14 years after that, there's going to be some kind of my next phase or whatever is going to happen. So, I know I have a lot to do coming up once I
I'm sure
retire.
you do.
So hopefully
I'm
around
amazed
the,
how much we have to do at our age. I didn't think retirement I'd be more busy than I was when I worked. Who
yeah.
knew?
But
If you're doing something you love, though.
That's true.
There
Do
are
what?
a lot of there are a
Um,
lot of people who have retired that say they're busier now than they ever were.
Mhm.
I think
At
so
least
because
you all want to do.
yes.
Usually,
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait till I can do my own thing and I can wake up when I want to wake up and I can um, focus on things and even walking. It's like I don't really think I even have the time to walk because there's so much stuff going on. And so I want to connect with everything, with the world and with people probably better than I do with the job because I'm just trying to get my job done and everything. And it takes away from me. It's providing for me the retirement that I'm going to need to do all those things that I need to do later. But right now it's important, but my things will shift greatly
Oh,
for
they
me.
definitely shift after retirement because you get to think. You start thinking about what it is
Yeah.
you do with the rest of your life.
Yep.
I opened up a a wellness studio when I retired, just because I was starting to learn about spirituality in a big way. A group of women in
Yes.
a little town I lived in, and it just went insane once that happened. Once we started that, I found yoga. So I found quiet. I found breath work. It's just one step leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And
Yes.
when you have time to read and do things like that, it's fun, and you learn so much more. Then life
Yeah.
gets in the way of life, in my opinion. Work gets in the way of life.
Yes. Definitely.
That's true. The humanness. That's exactly right. So,
Yes.
what's next?
let's see.
What else we got here?
What do you most want everybody to know about you?
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh. I don't know because I'm pretty like I don't know. It's hard. It's kind of like when I'm asked to do my accomplishments for the year, and I'm like, I don't know what I did. It's like I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's hard to like
I'd like them to know about what you
about
do.
me. About what do I do? I don't know.
About your channel, then.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I do a lot of different things on my channel. I think between the tarot reading, the medium readings now, I'm doing those more. I'm a little bit more comfortable with it.
Do
I
you
like
have a website that you do have appointments? You can take appointments for your readings or anything yet?
I don't do private readings outside of YouTube right now because I don't want to I'm not starting a business on top of my work because that's a whole other thing that I can't get into. So yeah,
No, I understand.
that requires a whole lot of paperwork. So I don't want to do it. So I'm going to wait till I retire.
And how
But
long do you have before you retire?
I'm trying for 4 years.
4
In
years?
4 years, yeah. So
Great.
yeah, because so it's not that long, but it's just that
Huh.
I can't get into all that because that's going to cause me a whole world of trouble, and I really don't want to be reporting that to where I work, and I have to. So
Oh, right.
people, and I can't say, but it's just
That
that
makes sense. Sure.
I'm just trying to keep things uncomplicated right now. But
Basically, it's just want everybody to keep in touch with you through YouTube.
yes, and yes, definitely. I mean,
You're going to take your channel in a different direction, and that's why you changed the name.
oh yeah, yes. Well, see, I started off as Inquisitive Tarot because I didn't know what to call myself. So Inquisitive Tarot is still sort of there, and I can always run back into it if I want to. Nobody else had that name. I liked it. And then I thought I need to change it because I'm trying to move into more spiritual stuff. I'm not just about tarot, and I am a medium because I had gone on a Lavender Moon's channel, and she had me come on, and I talked about the ghost stuff, and she kept saying, "You're a medium. You're a medium," and I was like, "No, I'm not." She's like, "You're a medium," and finally, I was like, "Okay, yeah,
Nile, Egypt, that river in Egypt.
yeah." And so I went to Angel Feather Tarot because of when I was a little girl, I used to see those little feathers, and I was just trying to think, well, how can I make it sound a little bit more spiritual? But I'm not all about. I mean, I love the angels and I believe in the angels, but it was about that little feather that I always saw. I still kept the feather as part of my icon because it's my logo. It's because it was something that used to happen when I was a little girl, and
Feathers.
I would see these little gray feathers, would just fall straight down from the sky. I'd be in the house. I'd be sitting there watching TV, and one of these little feathers, and I'd be like, "Where'd it go?" I could never find it, and I was like, "That's so weird." It came down straight. Yeah. So I thought it was my guardian angel, and I was always praying to my guardian angel when I was a young kid, and so I chose that name. But then everybody thought I was all about the angels, and it was like I'm not doing angel readings and things like that. So I thought, well, this isn't working. I like the name, but there are other angel feather tarots out there too. And so I thought this isn't. So I thought, well, what can I call myself without calling myself a psychic or a medium? So, because I'm not really comfortable with that next to my name, even though it is me, but it's not something I wanted to wear. So I just thought about it, and Spirit Messenger kind of came up because I do speak to Spirit, and I have received messages that I have passed on. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe that'll work. Because you can't.
That.
Good name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think it fits better. And so it's not like an in your face kind of name. It's just sort of like, okay, this is sort of what I do. It sort of says it.
It's sad that we have to worry about being called psychic and medium because of the attachment to that.
Kind of like Crone's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that we should name our channel Crones because Crones were ugly, witchy women. And I said, you know what? It's time for that because that's not what Crones are about.
No.
And so we're that's not my definition of a crone. So guess what?
It's not the dictionary definition either.
Well, I like your name though. I think it's. Whoa, what was that? Okay.
I think that was my computer saying, I have an email.
somebody's phone. So, but yeah, so I like your name though. I don't think it says that at all as far as you two. You
Oh,
two,
I'm fine with
you're
it.
both
Well,
cute,
we chose it. We chose it.
And Juno's right. She said also the name healer.
right?
That's
Ooh,
pretty much on the more negative side anymore.
A healer?
Yeah. He's a healer. I'm not going there.
Yeah. I always think of those people in the churches with their hands-on
Right.
healing.
It's not,
Okay,
it's
gotcha.
not a
Yeah.
positive connotation. And should be.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of people with healing in their name.
Yeah.
It's changing. Look how big this community is. Just
Yes.
the YouTube community of people that are waking up and wanting to know more and learning more and talking about it. It's not hidden in the shadows with some crazy lady with a crystal ball and a
Yeah.
turban on their head. It's just everyday people like you and me that are
Right.
awakening to our gifts, and we're nobody special. We're just peoples, just like anyone else.
Exactly.
And that's a beautiful thing about it is there's so many of us just people waking up,
That is true. I think so.
learning new gifts, and mine change all the time. I don't
Mine
channel
too.
hardly at all anymore, other than just information downloads. I
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what's going on, but
I know.
it
And we all
works
do
all
it
the
differently.
time.
And
It's
everyone does it differently, and it's okay.
Right.
It's you know,
it's individual.
right. And
Put them in a box. There's no psychic box anymore, no medium box anymore. We all blew that out.
yeah, it's very
Continue
different.
to do that.
Well, I mean, and we're all yeah, I mean, some people there are other mediums or psychics and they're you're hearing from their guides like right then and there. I don't have that happen like that. And but that's fine. That's how they do it or how it works or happens to them, and then I have what I have, and
Right. It's different.
it's
We're
fine.
completely different too. The way that we learn things, get our information. And she's a remote viewer, and she just figured that one out in the last 6 months. She didn't realize what she was doing, and she's been doing it all her life.
Yeah,
But there's nobody out there to tell you as a child what these things mean. And now, maybe because it's becoming so much more common, our kids and grandkids won't find it so unusual, and their kids and grandkids won't, it'll just be normal by that time. We'll
Right.
be living in 5D at that point. I hope.
probably. Yes,
Anyway, it would be nice.
yes, it would.
So I guess we've gone over. Just a minute. Just a minute
Yeah.
or so. Do you have anything else you want to share with everybody?
No, everything's just kind of. I still have to work on getting other collaborations set up. I haven't. I've been lax.
Do you have anything in the next week or
I don't.
so?
I don't really have anything planned right now. I've got to get moving because it's like on that stuff because it's like.
You do get on it, don't you? I'm constantly looking at my schedule and what I'm
Yeah.
going to do, and you almost have to get it like a month out. Like we don't have anything. We have 2 people scheduled in September, and
Well,
I need more.
Well, I used to do it like 2021 was crazy. I was constantly scheduling. I was either on somebody
Oh, is
else's
that
phone, they were on mine. It was just nonstop. And I mean, I was working like crazy and I'm still doing it, but I've also
Working
been on
time and doing all of that.
YouTube and everything. But it's like trying to get my on YouTube. But now it's just sort of like I've had to pull back. There's been some, things going on in my real world that I've had to deal with and
Right. And
construction.
I don't want my entire life to be YouTube. I want other things. I like to do other things,
Right.
But
including
yeah. So
But it's so much fun. Well, we sure appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope you'll come back.
oh,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much. There was so much insight in what you were saying.
Oh wow. Thank you so much.
What can happen and how you feel about it. It's great. Got to know you a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
And
thank you.
everybody in the chat, I hope you all have enjoyed today's show. And I hope, did we have any questions we need to answer?
I'm not sure. Thank you so much for having me. It has
Oh,
definitely
you
been.
bet.
Oh, it's been a joy. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you.
Aw.
And the people in the chat. It's wonderful. You guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We're going to say goodbye for now. And thanks so much for joining us. And please, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and even feel free to share. We love that.
Yeah.
And our next show is Tuesday, and it is on Reiki.
Reiki.
About Reiki. Now,
Yeah,
Heather and I are both energy healers, and neither one of us know anything about Reiki. So
Yeah.
we're going to research Reiki and see what we can find out about,
There's a lot on
just
it.
general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's so much, because that's kind of like astrology. Reiki goes off in all kinds of different directions as well. So that's kind of interesting.
Yes.
So,
It's
you guys,
a lot.
bye everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you all.
Thank you
Much
so
love.
much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Love and light.